Hi. I'll have the number 11, but if you could, hold the fug on.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the show. We are here with Mr. Christian Schlemmer, aka Bearded Realtor of Tennessee.
Hey man, how's it going?
Good man, how are you today?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you being here. I definitely wanted to talk to you about a couple things related to entrepreneurship and leadership. A little bit of background. So my wife and I, for anyone watching, my wife and I bought a house a little more than a year ago, and Christian was our realtor. And he did just a tremendous job for us that I wanted to bring him in, really going above and beyond. And kind of where this started, my wife is reading a book called Unreasonable Hospitality. And it's about how when you go above and beyond for people, they tend to remember that forever. So as she was telling me about this, I thought about you, Christian, and just like the way you
Appreciate it.
approached it. Yeah, no, I mean, goodness, I mean, you did an incredible job. I mean, obviously, like, the house I'm in right now, you found this for us. You got hustled over there with my wife, and I think we put in the very first offer. And at that time, the Tennessee real estate market was so hot. I mean, you couldn't drag your feet or think about it. It was like you had to be decisive, and like you hustled over here, Tina hustled over here. We put in the first offer, closed it down. You got us the inspectors, all the stuff we needed to like get it done. Did an amazing job. But then beyond that, Christian is like kept in touch with us, follows us on social media, like you're supporting, my book stuff, and this, my business campaigns, my wife's stuff. And then you even like brought us a pumpkin pie the other day and a mum and just check in, like, hey, how are you guys enjoying the house? And I consider that to be this like unreasonable hospitality in like the best possible way because I've had experiences with realtors before and like they close the deal and they're like, hey, okay, what's next? And good luck out there. And you never hear from them again, never see them again, except their maybe monthly email blast kind of thing. So you went
100%.
above and beyond. And I was like, man, I got to bring you in because I like the way you do things.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, man.
Man,
So I guess I want to start. So I was talking to Tina. I try not to have too much of a plan in these interviews, just go with the flow, right? And I was asking her, like, hey, what would you ask Christian? And one thing that came to mind for her is like every time we've seen you, you've been very consistent. Like you're just in a good mood, good spirits. I mean, you're the same guy every time we see you, every time we talk to you. And we just consider that very authentic. And, I would compare that with like sometimes you're at a restaurant, you have a server who comes up all bubbly, and then you see them at the end of the night and they're like behind the restaurant smoking, and they look like that meme of Ben Affleck. You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
exactly.
you've been the same guy every time we've seen you. So, where does your like good attitude come from? I mean, have you always been that way, or is it just because you like love what you're doing?
Man, I'll be honest. I'd like to say I've always been this way, but I mean, when I worked for somebody else, I wasn't always this way because you had to work for somebody. You had certain things you had to meet. And so, man, I got tired of being because it was a union involved job and I was management. So if you know anything about that, it's union versus management.
Mm,
And man, I got tired. I've never been a negative person, don't get me wrong, but I got tired of being in a place where I was battling every day. And I'm not that type of person. Now I can do it if I need to.
right.
And again, same thing with real estate transactions. Sometimes you got to put your foot down. But I got tired of being that way and I realized this is not a way to live life. And that's what made me go out on my own and do something else because I enjoy being happy. I enjoy being kind of a positive person.
Right.
And really, my goal is everybody I meet, I want to have something positive to kind of influence them, whether it be like just a memory of, hey, he was a great guy to meet, or hey, what he said that really stuck with my mind and made me think more positively about life, or just something in general.
Yeah.
And like I said, my goal is, and you guys said I'm the same person all the time, and that's really how I built my business is
Right.
I'm not I'm not a salesperson at all. I can sell stuff, and maybe that's not the way to say that, but there's some people like you go see the salesperson and they're a salesperson today, and then when you see them out at a restaurant, they're a whole different person.
Right.
Or
Right.
when they get around their family, they're a different person. And I have pretty much built my business on me being me. What you see today is what you're going to get when we go look at a house or when I'm at a restaurant with my family and my kids. And if I'm at the park with my kids, I'm always going to be me. I dress the same all the time.
Yeah.
I just try to stay extremely positive. Now, we all have life.
And good
And
days and bad days, right?
yeah, exactly. And I'm
Yeah.
not going to say like, all Christians 100% positive. I mean, there's days, don't get me wrong, but I also know what's being upset going to do for you?
Right. It's not going to make anything better. And if anything, it's going to
100%.
get in your way of making any progress whatsoever or solving your problems at least, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Man, and you may experience this when you go to write a book or go to do whatever. Like, if you get in a down, depressed attitude, or if you just sit on the couch and kind of sit back, or really just get lazy with it,
Hmm.
what do you accomplish? You get nothing accomplished. Then by an hour or two later, scroll on your phone, whatever, you're like, God, I literally just did nothing.
Right. Like the time goes
And
away. And for sure, like
100%.
not, like whatever problem you're in, bringing the best of yourself to the table is going to give you the best odds of getting through it quickly and getting on the other side. So, I mean, bringing a bad attitude is going to achieve nothing for you. And if anything, it's going to make things worse for sure.
100% it will. And that just, man, I go to bed every night and I look before I go to sleep. I think, what could I have done better today?
Do like a self-reflection, like unwind the day.
100%. And there's always things I could have done better. Man, I go to bed and I got a notebook beside my bed. And I'll make notes like I need to get this done because my mind
Nice.
doesn't shut off.
Right, right.
Um, but dude, every day is a new day, and
Yeah.
every night when you go to bed, your timer restarts to zero,
I heard
and that's how I look at it.
someone was like talking to an old man and they're like, "Oh, how are you today?" He's like, "Better than yesterday, not as good as tomorrow." And just like every day, that's the mentality. Like, yeah, today is better than yesterday. Tomorrow will be even better. And we're just going to keep pushing forward. So that is something Tina and I have noticed about you is like every time we've seen you, spoken to you, you have been consistently the same guy. And that's not to say like you're not growing and evolving or anything like that, but it's just like you don't have your work face and at home private, out in the world face. Like you're just who you are everywhere you go. And what I like the most about it is it's working very well for you, right? I mean, people are
Mhm.
drawn to authentic. They trust authentic. They want to see it. I think in a lot of ways, people are scared to be themselves. So, like,
100%.
it's kind of magnetic when you're like, hey, this person is thriving with just what God gave them, just embracing exactly who they are, kind of thing. So, I'm glad to see. And I will say, like, being a business owner definitely suits you. Like, not everyone is cut out to just like work for somebody else. Like some people gotta just like it's gotta be my thing, win, lose, or draw. I gotta own it.
100%.
Yeah. So has that kind of always
That's,
been your thing? Like,
man, it really has. I've never really, I mean, I've kind of always worked for myself even at a young age.
mhm.
Always had like small little side hustles, small little businesses. And I went I hated school, not even gonna lie about that, and went to college and I had a full-time job and I realized I don't like being told. I got a job making money, man. I don't want to keep being told what to do like I'm in school. So I dropped out of college and then I mean, I worked on my career for the longest time and I worked my way up. And I'll be honest, I've never had an attitude where it's good enough.
Mhm.
I always want to do better. I always want to do the next thing. I'm always trying to learn and realize how to be better at what I'm doing.
Mhm.
And I realize that working for someone, there's only so high you can go.
Right,
And
right.
and don't get me wrong, some people have that ability where they have more control over their job working for someone just because they know how to negotiate their worth
Mhm.
and that opportunity lets them. But unfortunately, where I was at, I would never have that. It was just impossible in the career I was in.
I can
And
relate
like I
to that.
said, yeah, and dude, I want to keep doing better and better. And once you realize you can't do that sitting behind a desk and you're sitting on telecoms all day being yelled at. And I've just always been that person where it's like, I'm just gonna go work for myself and make my own money. And whether it was flipping vehicles as a kid or flipping stuff on Craigslist, I mean, that was
Right.
huge growing up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, I just realized, man, there's so many ways out here to make money and have fun doing it. And I got into real estate because of the vertical integration and how
Hmm.
much I can do in this industry.
Right.
And there's the opportunities are endless. And at the end of the day, I'm my own boss. But yeah, technically, I'm still in customer service. So when you're in customer service, you're never really your own boss.
Mm.
But I wake up every day knowing that if I really don't want to do something, I don't have to. But I also know that when I find somebody a home, I'm doing something better. And that makes me feel 1,000 times better because I'm being happy about it. I'm seeing smiles. I'm hearing success stories and just hearing you guys talk about how your
Right.
perspective on how everything went. 'Cause I know my perspective,
Right. Right.
and it's always crazy to hear back when somebody's like, "Man, can you believe you did that?" And like it makes me smile, man, because like I said, I feel like I'm doing something better, but yeah, I'm doing it for myself and not being bossed around for somebody, and I'm helping others.
Yeah, I think about this a lot because, and I talked about this on a previous show, but this is actually a better example to segue. So, like, philosophers have always debated, okay, are people like born good and we're corrupted, or are we born kind of savage and need to be refined? And I'm like, no, it's more like we're born to, and I don't want to say selfish because it has a negative connotation, but like, there's certain things we're all good at. And even going back to the 9 to 5, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like people are meant
Mhm.
to do different things. Some people, fit into an organization amazingly well, make valuable
Correct.
contributions. Other people are like, I need to build something that's mine. We're all built
Correct.
for different things. So, but anyway, like you look out in the world at like nature, right? If you didn't have any other example, you look at something like a hummingbird, it has no idea it's pollinating and growing all this food for all these other creatures. It just knows it's thirsty, it's doing what it's built to do. I think the right way to structure our lives is like you find what you're good at, what you love to do, and it happens to like serve the community, serve other people, and you can be paid for it, and it's good for everyone. So, like, if you love real estate and you're good at it, at the end of the day, like you're providing for your family, which is amazing, but you're doing something very honest, right? I mean, like my wife and I love our home. Like I'm stoked to raise my son in this house and have him grow up like in this neighborhood in Tennessee, in this district. It's good for everyone kind of thing. And I think that's the
Mhm.
right way for us to structure like what we're doing, like to think in those terms that everybody can win, right?
100%, man. And you say the selfish is looked as a negative thing, and it really is. Definitely when you say that word and it comes across.
Hmm.
But man, it's in other countries do things different. And
Right,
this
right, right.
is what I've realized definitely in the real estate industry. And now that I've dealt with so many nationalities,
Mm.
helping them find homes and seeing how they, and I'll give you a quick example is there's certain nationalities out here where they have almost like kitty accounts is what we would call them here in America, like little kitties where they all put their money together.
Okay.
And when Uncle John and Grandma and Grandpa, everybody puts his money in here, and when you're ready to go buy a house, hey, you and your wife can take some money out and go buy a house.
Right. Like families rise
And
and fall as a unit in other
correct, man.
cultures, right? And
And they work together. And
yeah.
I'll be honest, here in America, we've kind of been told to do what you have to do to be successful. And it's sad because I always try to help everybody else's business. And that's
Right.
why I really think a lot of my business partners, because I'm like, the only way to be successful and be happy is to do this together as a group effort and keep growing.
Right. We can win and fall, win and lose as a unit kind of thing, or like
Correct.
whatever I can do as an individual, like us working together, imagine how much more we could do. And I will say, like, you're absolutely right that America culturally has that backwards, right? Like, we're losing our family ties in a big way. But even if you look at, like, let's say the Jewish community and they do like the bar and bat mitzvah, and it's like, okay, at 13, we're going to have a big party. This person is now a young man, a young woman, and then all the friends and relatives are going to contribute. And it's like now we got this big account. So like this kid is set up for college. They're set up if they want
Yeah.
to start a business, and they're investing in the family in the next generation. Um, and that's something like, I mean, every America really needs to get back to embracing that because, I mean, I don't know, if we work together, obviously we could go, or it's more like maybe, if you're looking at a chain, it's not defined by how strong the strongest link is. It's like how weak the weakest link is in a chain. So it's like
Correct.
any society, the more you can like raise up people like from the very bottom, that probably just overall makes the whole community society more robust kind of thing. And that was a bit of a riff, but I love talking philosophy. But I will say I have this theory I'm working on. I think you're a good embodiment of this theory that to succeed in business, all you really need is a good work ethic, competence, trustworthiness, and then pleasant to work with. That's all you
Mhm.
really need to succeed is like people know they can trust you, they like working with you, you're good at what you do, and you're not lazy. That's all you need to
Correct.
win. And I feel like you embody that. I mean, you like hustled for us and made things happen. So do you kind of agree with that, or do you have anything you want to add to that? Like, what does it take to win?
Man, I would say first off, happiness is huge.
Okay.
You gotta be, because if your happiness, then that brings out your drive.
Right, right, right.
And I call it, and I've been told that it's more of a prey drive is
Mm.
what it is. And it's if you really want something, it's just like lions out here hunting or any animals out in the wild. They're preying to get their eat is what they're doing. And
Hmm.
it depends on how much you want to eat. And I feel like if you can gain people's trust, you can be 100% yourself. You're happy while you're doing it. And like you said, you're driven and you want it, you can run a successful business.
Right. And people will want to work with you. I mean, they'll be like, hey,
Correct.
this is the person we'd like to do business with because, yeah, it just makes sense across the board. Like, we know we're in good hands and we
100%.
feel good doing it. Yeah.
And honesty, integrity is everything.
Right.
You
Right.
you
Right.
you gotta realize that you're not gonna win every battle.
Hmm.
You gotta realize that sometimes you have to admit you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest thing. I mean, I struggled with that for a while, just admitting defeat sometimes. But you have to learn how to overcome that defeat and see the other side. So there's so many struggles that when you're running a business and so many things you have to learn that no matter how bad you want it, if you're not honest and integrity, like your honesty and your integrity is not there,
Hmm.
I mean, there's business out here that succeed without it, but that's really when you're in a customer service business, you have to have that. And you got to be genuine, you got to be real because we live in a day and age of social media.
Right.
And so in the morning you could be somebody and back in the day in the night you could be somebody else. That's again going back to me being me.
Hmm.
Whereas nowadays you can't do that. I mean,
Right.
literally one bad clip online could ruin your own business. If you're a
Yeah.
small business, you're a business owner, it could be ruined.
Yeah, for sure. Reputation matters and like everything is public and even just the way people
100%.
can take to the internet with like reviews and things. I mean, it's we live in an interesting time with information and communication for sure.
100%. And
And it's
people will
definitely, yeah.
leave, not to interrupt you, but
No, you're good.
people will leave bad reviews all
Mhm.
day long before they'll leave good reviews.
That's the thing. Everywhere you go, like they're much more motivated to like leave you a scathing review for having a bad experience than like leaving a good review and thanking you. Um,
Correct.
that's just the reality of the thing. And for anyone watching this, something to keep in mind when you're looking into anybody at all, whether it's a restaurant, real estate agent, check the bad reviews because a lot of them are a personal problem. You just read like someone had a bad experience and they'll kind of indicate it's on them in a big way.
Correct.
Yeah. But going back to trust and what do you say? Trust and what was the second one?
Integrity,
Trust and integrity.
honesty, integrity.
Honesty and integrity. There was actually a house you talked us out of. And it was a house we were on the fence. Like we weren't, it wasn't the one, right? For
Mhm.
sure. But you know, we were walking the house and you were looking at the outside and you were looking at some cracks in the bricks and you were like, when we do the inspection, you know, if you guys go with this house, this is something to keep your eye on. And like the traditional thinking for a real estate agent would be like, close the deal. If they're interested, push them, you know, get the thing done, move on to the next thing. But you were honest with us
Correct.
that like, hey, this is a nice house. Don't get me wrong. You're very polite. This is a nice house, but there's some things I would keep an eye on that like maybe points of concern. And that is
Mhm.
actually the moment we knew like, hey, Christian's our guy. This is before we like actually like I don't want to say contract because I don't know what the right term is, but you had met us at a house because we didn't have representation. We called like, hey, we're interested in this, and you it got directed to you, and you stepped out of like an event at some obscure hour at night and to like take our call, and we like appreciated that. You're like in the middle of something. You're like, no, I'm gonna take this call, and you met us there the next day, and at that moment where you like were honest about some of the things you were seeing in that house, we were like, this is our guy. So then we started working with you after that. So I mean, I thought that was very powerful because I think a lot of other people, and this is true across business. I mean, even, you know, you could probably see this in like cars, especially. People just try to match you up with whatever you're mildly interested in just to get it done and move on to the next thing. But um, that is not how you operated. And I mean, we got the perfect house because of the way you do things.
Mhm.
So,
And then one thing I like is, and I just heard this quote the other day and it
yeah.
fits perfect, is the minute the check becomes more important to the client than the client, you failed.
Hmm, that's
And
powerful.
unfortunately, there's a lot of people in business, not even just real estate, in all business,
Right.
that check, and I get it, man. I got bills to pay. Do I want a check every month? Yes, because I don't know. I don't know when my next check is coming
Right, right,
until
right.
I close a deal. And if the deal falls apart, I don't get paid. If somebody calls me and says I'm no longer looking, I don't get paid. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so much wasted time out there. And so I get it as a business owner that that check's important. But that minute you put that check above your client, you failed.
No, I think that's 100%. There's a lot of support for that mentality. Even like something like in the Bible, like the Sermon on the Mount, which is the idea being like if you aim at the best possible thing you can do in any given moment, everything under that is going to work out. Like the money's going to work out, the friendships are going to work out, the relationships are going to work out. Like just do the best you can do, and those other things will fall into place. And this actually, the best marketing quote I ever heard was that your best salespeople are going to be happy customers. And it's like whether it's
100%.
real estate or a restaurant, it's like someone who had a great experience with you is going to be like, "Hey, I got a guy, I got a place. Like you got to check this out because like this is the real thing." And those people will advocate for you better than you could ever really advocate for yourself. All the advertisements, all you saying, "Hey, I'm good," they don't mean nearly as much as someone who, you know what I mean, has nothing to gain. They're just like
100%.
really happy and trying to spread the word kind of thing. So I
Man,
agree
that
with
that
you.
goes a lot further right there.
It really does. And I mean, Tina and I, even at boat, I mean, even this interview here, and I'm hoping, I don't know how many people from Middle Tennessee, because, obviously we might have national reach with this, but if you're in Middle Tennessee watching this, trust me when I say Christian is the guy. You got to go with
I
Christian.
appreciate it. I
So I do
appreciate it,
want
man. And
to, no, you're very welcome. There's a lot I want to ask you. I know we don't have a ton of time. One of these things is, and I made a video on this, but I think it'd be more powerful coming from you. Why should people want to own a home?
man, there's first off, I will say, I mean, I know every realtor is going to answer this in one way. Where owning a home is not for everyone. I'll
Okay.
just be straight out
Yeah,
honest.
yeah, yeah.
There's a lot that goes in, and I'll start. There's a lot of positives, there's a lot of negatives. And it depends on your lifestyle. I went a while before purchasing a home because I didn't know where I wanted to settle. Um, but now looking back, I wish I would have bought a home. Now that I know how real estate investing works, I wish I would have bought a home everywhere I lived
Right, right, right.
because I could be making a lot more passive income. But man,
Have
why
those like
people should
rentals kind of thing. Like,
100% because in my head was okay, I'm living in West Palm Beach, Florida right now, and I almost bought a house. I wanted to buy it for 99,500, and
right.
they countered me at 100,000. And my agent didn't educate me that $500 difference would make like $5 at the most difference on my
It
payment.
was nothing, right? I mean, it's nothing.
It wasn't even nothing to bark at, but me being I think I was 19 and stubborn, I was like, I'm not doing that.
You're like, hey, if they won't play
Um,
ball, so,
yeah. And I'll give you an example on why people should own real estate because I could have bought that house for 99.5, and that same house today, that was 9 years ago, that same house today is a $700,000 house.
yeah, yeah,
Um, and I would have owned it instead of paying rent and throwing money out the window. I would have built equity.
right,
There's property management companies out here that will manage it for me, which I never thought about that.
right, right,
And so I literally could, even if I would have made $300 a month profit, that's still $300 for doing nothing.
right. I mean, just totally strictly passive income, steady income stream.
100%.
It's an amazing thing. And I
And
know it
that's
isn't for everyone for sure, but I also know that, I mean, it feels like obviously it's the largest purchase people make on average.
100%.
Like your personal net worth is closely tied to your home. The equity in
100%.
your home can allow you to start a business if you're like eventually like, look, I have this dream, but I'm going to need some capital. Having a mortgage in a home can open up channels to like get the loan you need kind of thing. Like there's
100%.
doors that open when you own a home.
There are, and it's going to help your credit for one,
Mhm.
because that's like you said, it's a huge purchase. But
Yeah.
man, when you own a home, like you said, it's a free savings account is really what it is. I mean, it does cost you. Don't get me wrong. It is a it's an appreciating liability, is what I
Yes.
call a house. The house you live in is an appreciating liability.
Yeah, that makes a ton of
Whereas
sense.
like rental properties are appreciating assets.
Yes.
So the house you live in, the way I look at it is, I mean, I've owned multiple homes, and you no longer got to pay rent for somebody else. You fully own it. You can fully customize that home. Those are just small perks of living in there, but you're building equity in it.
Hmm.
You Instead of paying 100% interest, you have your interest. More, it's been proven. that if you hold on a house long enough, you don't lose.
Right.
Now
Unless it's in
we have,
Detroit. Yeah.
yeah, I literally said that the other day, all jokes
No.
aside. I said, well, everywhere besides Detroit's the only
Everywhere,
place.
the rule is universal except Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but really, I mean, you live in a house, they typically say 3 years to really break even
Hmm.
by the time you have to do like capital gain or if you have to do like realtor fees with
Yeah.
an average market. Here in Middle Tennessee, we're not in an average market. You guys already have equity. You guys probably could always walk away.
I know the house
I
has
know
gone up 15,000 since we bought it. I mean, like
oh,
this market
100%.
is just people want to be in Middle Tennessee. They're coming from all over the country to be here.
100%, man. And just owning a home just opens up so many more doors. Like you said, there's equity there you can capitalize on. You can sell it. You're building a savings account that you're not touching. It's the best interest or return of investment you're going to get
Right.
than any other, unless you figured out the cryptocurrency market and you figure out how to get into Bitcoin when it was nothing. I
Just
mean,
you know exactly what Nancy Pelosi's doing and follow it. Yeah.
yeah,
That's right.
exactly.
I mean, you know exactly what your senators and Congress people are betting on. And
But I mean, dude, there's just so many opportunities that it opens up. And I have learned since I've owned a home. I mean, again, you're going to have bad things happen. You're going to have things go out in your house. You're going to have to do repairs, but you control it. Whereas I know when I rented, I had my AC go out in the middle of July, I think it was the first 2 months I lived here in Nashville.
yeah,
And if anybody knows anything about Nashville, July, I mean, I moved here from Florida. Don't get me wrong. Florida's a lot
Florida's
hotter.
hot, but yeah,
But hot and humid here in Middle Tennessee, July, it was like July 4th. We had record heat. Colin, my landlord, took him forever to get somebody out. They didn't get somebody out till the next day because AC is not really an emergency situation. Only heat is.
okay, interesting.
Um, and I know people will argue that
I think so.
unfortunately it's
I think heat kills people more frequently than cold does, but like if your house
yeah,
is dropping down to 30 degrees, I mean that's obviously like we got to
correct.
deal with this immediately. Yeah.
So, and that was the thing. Like my house wasn't super hot either. They told me if it reached a certain temperature, that's where it would become an emergency.
Okay.
Um, so my house wasn't 90 degrees. My house was like 80, which that's hot for a house.
Yeah, that's you can't
Um,
sleep. I mean, it's like
no,
brutal
it
and
was
sweat, and you're
miserable.
like, yeah, that's no fun at all.
But the landlord, be honest with you, I think he was just because it was July 4th. So of course he was waiting till the next day. He didn't want to have to pay that holiday premium. Whereas if you own a
Right.
house, you got full control. And then yeah, it's gonna cost you out of pocket, but you got full control. Whereas a landlord's not going to reimburse you. So there's things like that that's going to happen, but it just opens up so many opportunities that you're building equity, which is like I said, savings account. You
Right.
have full control of what you have. You always have the option to sell it and get out. You always have the option to turn it into a rental and make money.
Right. And
There's
even
very few people that lose on a house.
no, and even like looking past the financials, like we bought our house just because like my wife was pregnant. We're like, okay, we got a kid on the way, like an apartment no longer suits us. And
Mhm.
I mean, we found this little gem, got half an acre, and like I immediately got some chickens and just took over. I got like a whole
No
homestead.
HOA.
No HOA, got a little homestead thing, but it was like it was important to me that, while my wife is pregnant, like we're gonna eat really clean foods. Like I'm not trusting a lot of the stuff. Like we got fresh eggs, I got fresh fruit from the yard, fresh berries, and I was just like feeding her all kinds of good stuff. But I'm stoked that like my kid is gonna have this half an acre to play on. I mean, just let his imagination run wild, and now we got a dog and all this stuff, and none of that was possible without that ownership. You know what I
Correct.
mean? And that stability we can create and that just like freedom to just, really make it ours. We can paint the walls. I mean, all these things you can't do renting that it's like it's not your space. So it's like you have to ask permission or just not do it. And I don't know how you ever really get moved in and make it yours. But
Correct. You don't. I mean, I've lived in and I've lived in so many houses I've never hung a picture on the wall. Um, and I'll be honest, even my first house I bought, I think we only hung one thing on the wall the whole 2 years we lived there
okay.
because I never planned on staying in the house. And even my house I live in now, I've been here for 3 years. I think we've probably only got 10 things hung on the wall.
Hmm.
But like, even then, that's just more of a personal choice because I know I'm gonna turn the house to a rental and move on. And I don't want to deal with the holes. But in an apartment and stuff, like you said, you never get. I mean, I know when I left one apartment in Florida to go to another, then I moved up here to Tennessee. I was like, oh, that's easy to pack. I already got half my things in boxes because I never felt truly at home to unpack.
Right. You never like really moved in. So you're like, oh no, we're just gonna take the boxes. They're already here, put them on the truck
Yeah,
again. Yeah.
exactly.
Hey, were you from Florida or where are you from originally?
So I'm originally from Indiana. Lived in Indiana
Okay.
all my life.
Okay.
Moved. I was 19 and I moved to Florida. Took a job in Florida,
Nice.
and I lived on both coasts of Florida. So I lived in West Palm for a while. Then we moved over to Fort Myers
Nice.
and was there for. I think I was in Fort Myers for 9 months and took a job up here in Nashville.
No, that's how that goes. I do love Florida. I will say.
It's
I
nice.
someday I might live down there, like retire down there or something. But I don't know, one of my favorite places to be. But I'm a big like fisherman and all this, and Florida's
Mhm.
got so much to offer for someone like me. So always
It
feel good
does.
vibes. And you know, I've never felt bad looking at the ocean. Like I don't know, I feel like you can't have a bad day if you're staring at the ocean. You're just like, damn.
It's tough, man. I ate lunch a lot of days on the beach, and
Yeah,
that
just
was
like
a
stone
different
sad.
experience.
Yeah, man.
Now, I have actually fished more in Florida since I've moved out of Florida than what I did when I lived there.
That's probably how it goes, right? You like you visit and do all the things, and when you live there, you're like I haven't been to the Nashville Zoo or like some like there's so much stuff in Nashville I haven't done. But anytime
Mhm.
someone comes to visit us, like, oh, we should take them somewhere, and then you end up trying all the restaurants that like it's just funny how that goes. Yeah.
All the touristy, like it's just like Broadway. I mean,
Yeah.
very, very little do you find somebody local down on Broadway.
No, unless they work, they're working at one of
Yeah,
the
let's say
bars or
work there, or
something.
hey there, I'm here with my family from out of town where
It's
I
always,
told them I
yeah.
check out Broadway.
No, people living there like, yeah, no, I'm not getting near that. Yeah. I'm not dealing with the whole thing. Every once in a while, though, for sure. But it is, yeah, it's Broadway's got crazy. It's kind of like feels like Mardi Gras
Mhm.
now. Like I don't
All
know,
the
maybe
time.
post COVID or something, people were cooped up, but Broadway is insane.
And it's just getting busier and busier and keeps growing.
It's getting wild. Hey, let me ask you. Okay, so for any, let's say, young people watching this, because this channel, I'm mostly going to cater it toward entrepreneurs, personal development, that kind of thing. For anyone who's feeling that calling to like start a business, own something, um, anything that comes to mind, like what you'd want to tell them about starting that journey.
Call me. No.
All right.
No, no, for real though, if you're looking, you need to sit down and have a clear vision. You have to have a clear plan because without a clear vision, you have no idea what you're trying to accomplish.
Right. Or yeah, yeah.
So I will say, like every day I wake up, and my goals, once I hit them, I make new goals. I never reach my end goal.
Mm,
Every day I wake up, I write my three goals out. I have three goals I focus on every day.
okay.
Um, and I'm gonna work on those until I accomplish them. Then I'll make as soon as I knock out one, I'll replace that with a new goal.
It's got to be three at
And
any moment.
that man, because anything more than three, you find trouble focusing on it.
Mm.
Three keeps it simple. I have one that's more of probably like a 5 year goal, and the other two are goals for next year. Um,
Wait, so you're talking like you
so,
got an immediate goal and then you got some long-term goals. Like we're working
correct. However
right
you
now
want to do
planning.
it.
Yeah.
And it could be personal, it could be business, but three goals you have to focus on. So when you're wanting to get, when you're new in the business or in a business or you're trying to create a business, you need to get clear on your goals and what you're trying to achieve.
Mm.
And it's, if you're going to do this one thing, are you happy just doing that? Or how can you grow your business better? Or maybe you can step back a little bit more and let
Mm.
somebody else. And if you don't have that clear goal, and I'll use my wife as an example. My wife's a photographer, has a photography business.
Nice.
And it wasn't up until this year she became clear on her goals.
Mm.
So she's worked this whole time taking photos, returning them. Yeah, it's great money, it's great business, it's running, but it's just you're just turning the wheels. You're not actually trying to grow. You're not actually setting an end goal there.
Yeah.
So when you're trying to come up with a business, you have to have a reason on why you're doing it.
Mm.
Because at some point in time, more than likely, if you're a true entrepreneur, you're going to get burnout.
Yeah, for sure. You're gonna push too hard because that's what we do.
100%. And that's the nature of it. And most good entrepreneurs have ADHD.
Yeah, I think so.
And I say that because it's like, oh, I'm focusing on this now. Hey, guess what? I'm gonna start this too. And I've started multiple businesses. And I mean, I've
Yeah.
started I started a brokerage. I mean, I'm doing a coaching company now for realtors. I'm trying to grow into business coaching.
Love that.
Um,
No,
and
it's
I
a
do
great
real
idea
estate
though, honestly.
investments. I love it, man. And
Yeah.
it's one of those things. If you don't have a clear goal, since most of us, our minds are everywhere, yeah, you can have a successful business today, but you got to have a goal on what you're trying to achieve.
I think of it like being an entrepreneur, you're on a ship out at sea, and if you have no idea where you're trying to land, I mean, what are the odds you're going to come ashore where you're trying to go, kind of thing. And it
Correct.
also feels like with us, and I relate to this where you're like, you set these very high goals that you'll never hit. And in the pursuit of those, you do amazing work, but then you're always falling short to a degree. And that's like such an interesting balance. I mean, I don't really know how to navigate that. Like if your goals are too small, like, in a year, you're not going to have a lot to show for it. And if your goals
Correct.
are too big, you're never going to hit them, but you're going to do a lot of things. But then you're always going to have some feelings that like, yeah, I haven't quite lived up to everything I know I could be kind of thing. It's
Correct.
an
And
interesting balance.
I say set the goals higher.
Yeah.
If you feel like it's easy, achievable, you're not pushing yourself hard enough. And if you truly want it and you want to be successful, and some people's happy with that, don't get me wrong.
Right, right, right.
Um, I always set my yearly goal a lot higher. And
Mm,
I'll be honest, when I hit it, I'm like, wow, I hit that. I can't believe it. And sometimes I get that down in my head where like I'm not gonna hit that goal. I know I'm not. I'm just gonna set it high just to kind of give me something to aim at.
right.
And last couple of years I've hit it. So
You're like, "Whew."
I'm like, wow, like I originally was gonna go way lower than that. And that's you doubt yourself when you do that. And I feel like if you set your goals high,
Yeah.
even if you're close, okay, what did it take me to get to this close? Next time I do this goal, next time if I can keep doing this goal, I know what I need to do harder to get there.
That's pretty legit. And it's also, I mean, it's amazing when if you set the goal higher than you think you can hit and then you do hit it, you're like, whoa, like that's got to be
Yeah.
kind of a moment. And I'm sure you immediately turn, you're like, okay, the next goal is like,
Yeah.
oh, we're
The
gonna
next
raise it
goal,
up even. Yeah, like
bam.
wait, with the moon, yeah, we're going straight to the moon. Ah, there's a lot to pick apart there. I definitely can see you as a business coach or real estate development coach, kind of offering that like mentorship. In terms of your three goals, three rules, three things you have written down, did you get that from a mentor? Or is that just something you kind of like just personally like, okay, this came to me, this is what I'm gonna do, this is the plan I'm gonna work.
Man, I've picked it up off of a mentor.
Nice.
Um, and I got a couple coaches myself. I have a realtor coach, a real estate coach. I have a business coach myself that 'cause I feel like
Nice.
you have different levels of coaching.
Yeah.
And I talk to my coaches weekly basis, and both of them from both angles told me you have to focus on your goals. And if you're not writing your goals, then you're unclear of your vision.
Mm,
And that really stuck with me. So I write my three goals, and it's how do I get from A to B, and your B's are your goals. And then you need to figure out, are you the type of person that can just go straight from A to B and make it happen? Or do you need to break down that middle part? What's in between A to B?
yeah.
What and who? Those are your two biggest questions on trying to achieve your goals are what and who. Who can help me? Who's going to be in my way? And then what do
Right.
I got to do or what do I need to change?
That's super interesting. And there's a lot there, and I think I'm going to start doing that because like I even need to get more clear. I got that entrepreneur thing. I'm spread out, and I'm like working on five different projects at once, and I'm like, maybe I should be a little more of a bullet than like a stick of dynamite. Just like
100%.
blast in every direction here. We got about a minute left before we get kicked out of here. I want to make sure you get your plugs in. So if you're in Middle Tennessee and you were looking for a home, real estate, or mentorship, business coaching, you're thinking about getting into real estate, where should people look for you, Christian?
Man, I'm on all social media at Bearded Realtor TN for Tennessee. Got to keep the beard, can't shave it now. And Christian Schlimmer on Facebook. You can find Bearded Realtor Tennessee as well on there.
Love it. So before we get kicked out, I do want to ask you, how important is mentorship?
Man, mentorship's huge. It has elevated my business to the next level. Because it's like accountability plus it's people looking at it from a different angle